Well, look who we have here. It's Beach Baby Bob. How's it going?
Great. I want to show you this tree I've got on my front lawn. Come back up a little bit.
This monster?
Yeah, back up, back up, back up. This is a weeping mulberry tree.
There, I got it in the frame.
Weeping mulberry tree. You can see how the branches sort of flop over and they weep down to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is July. It started getting leaves on it around the beginning of May, and by the end of August, those branches will be dragging on the driveway.
Right.
That's how big it will be. And that tree is about, I'd say, maybe 20 years old.
Yeah.
It's a weeping mulberry tree, and I like it, but I don't like it. I don't like it because in the fall, when it starts to lose its leaves in September, the leaves fall off because it's a deciduous tree, getting ready for winter, and they're all over the driveway, and I'm picking them up, and you know, that drives me crazy with the leaves all over the driveway. But other than that, it's a weeping mulberry tree, and it's a male.
Okay.
I know it's a male because it's close to, what would you say, 20 feet high?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 20 feet high. Well, the females only grow till they're about 8 feet high at the most.
Right.
But the males will grow twice as big, 16, 17, 18, 20 feet.
What's the male do?
And the male tree,
Let's get a
first of
closer look
all,
at
it doesn't have any berries. The female would have berries that you could eat, mulberries.
Mm-hmm.
But the male doesn't have any berries. And there are no mulberry trees around here, so it doesn't have to get involved with, you know, extramarital relations.
Mulberry stuff.
Right. Anyway, so I'm going to just sit up here on the steps under the mulberry tree and tell you a few things about it. First of all, it's a very, very hardy tree. So if you're thinking of planting one in your yard, plant it away from your house. I wasn't that smart years ago, and I planted it too close to the front of the house, and it really will get giant, and you might have to trim it back because it'll be infringing on your entrance way into your house, but plant it out by itself in the yard.
Hello.
And also it not only does it droop over and the branches come down toward the ground by the end of the season, but they spread sideways too, like an umbrella. So they're a great tree. If it rains and you're sitting under it, you'll be protected. It's great from the ultraviolet rays of the sun, so if you need to be in the shade, so it's a great tree. Also, it was originated in China, and because it's so hardy, it managed to get all through Europe and over to the Americas, and we're in Canada, so...
Yeah, it looks like a giant bonsai.
Yeah, but people bring it to their part of the world, and it seems to grow just fine. But it originated in China. Now, you're saying a bonsai tree is a tree that's been sculpted on purpose. So some of the branches are cut away on purpose, and I do that with this.
Yeah, it looks like there's been lots of snips going on
Well,
here.
at the end of the season, again, after the leaves fall off it, I chop the branches all the way back to the top and give it like a brush cut. And so that's the way it sits for the winter.
Yeah, it looks like some of them sort of gave up on growing, but some of them have not, right? Like this.
And also, when you plant it, I've got mine planted on a little bit of a hill. Can you show the hill?
Yeah.
Because you want to, it doesn't like, the roots don't like sitting in water. So it really likes water, but it doesn't really like to sit in the water. So if you're going to plant it on a little bit of a slope. And also it manages, after it's planted and it has decided that maybe it kind of likes the country or the place that it's starting to live in, it becomes very tolerant of the heat. So for example, if you live in a really, really hot environment, you could still plant one of these and it would adapt very well. So that's what I mean. I mean, it's very, very hardy, no bugs, no fungus.
So bugs don't fly around it?
Well, there's bugs, but I mean, like no insects eating it.
It's not like the same as with the June bugs on that big maple.
Well, it might have a June bug hiding in it, like the maple, but it's not, I mean, it's not going to...
it's not the main attraction for the June bugs.
It's not the June bugs. I mean, it's not going to get any kind of fungus, or it's just a very hardy tree.
Yeah, you don't see any kind of diseased bark on it or anything. It's very gnarly looking though. It's got like twisty branches.
Yeah, twisty branches.
And it even looks like right now you might need to trim it at some point. 'cause
And if
it's
you
got, like,
notice,
some
the
hanging.
leaves are on the top of it, like an umbrella.
Yeah.
And the branches that are new that are growing toward the driveway.
So the rain just like falls off it, kind of.
Right.
So a couple other questions about this.
And by the way, the female can be purple or white or pink,
Oh,
right?
I don't.
And the
think,
male is this color.
I don't believe I've seen those
Oh,
ones.
there's one other important thing too. The silkworms
Mm-hmm.
over in China like to eat parts of this tree.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, silkworms are used to make silk. And
Mhm.
so you could see that some countries might find this tree very important to the silk trade.
Right, I can see that.
So
but,
silkworms like to eat this tree.
but here in Canada, there's no silkworms.
No silkworms, so it's just
It's just hanging out here,
hanging out here in Ontario, Canada, not far from Toronto.
not really having a problem with the other nearby bushes that are kind of on this hill as well.
No.
They're kind of get along.
Yeah, they all get along, and I would highly recommend it for your yard. It's kind of a piece of art in itself.
Yeah.
Just keep it away from the house.
And it's got like, do you know anything about the root system? Like with this, like if there's a storm, this thing's probably not going to blow over, huh?
Well, this root system is like most of the deciduous, like the maple tree over there. It's got
Yeah.
a taproot that looks like the trunk, except it's under the ground.
Yeah.
And it goes straight down, and then it gets the secondary or fibrous roots that grow out of it, like the branches on the top.
Right.
So most deciduous trees, if you imagine them above the ground, that's the way they look under the ground.
Yeah, because we had that storm a couple months ago, and all the pine trees blew down.
Yeah, pine trees are different.
But not this guy. He's still standing.
Yeah.
And then about the I know you have that video about the cherry tree, the dead cherry tree in your backyard.
Mhm.
How is this one comparable in terms of like is it a tough, like, could you chop this down if you like?
Yeah, this would be okay to chop down. A lot of the branches are hollow.
Right, so it's not like it's
Cherry
really
tree-
difficult to.
Right, cherry tree
Chop into-
branches are solid through and through, but these are a little bit hollow. I could probably cut this down very, very easily.
Not that that's
No.
the plan, because you like this tree, right?
Right, and the other thing too is that it releases pollen slowly,
Yeah.
which is good. And this tree needs to be fertilized when it's a baby, but only maybe once every 3 years. So you're not going to give it much fertilizer.
How about sap-wise? Is there a lot of sap dripping off this tree?
No sap. No, this is.
No berries, no sap.
Well, there's no berries on this, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, if you look across the road at the Brown house,
I see. Yeah.
they used to have a mulberry tree right on the front lawn over there, which they've cut down,
Mhm.
and it was not very big. And I thought, why isn't it growing as big as this? And then I noticed one day the lady was picking the berries off of it.
Oh
And
yeah.
I thought, female.
It's the female
So
one.
that's why it had berries, because this tree was across the road.
Mhm.
So, of course, there was pollinization happening, and the berries were growing over there, and she was enjoying the fruits of her labor, which was not much work.
Yeah, I
But
see.
the tree's long gone over there. She didn't like it, I guess. She cut it down and just planted some other flowers and perennials. And anyway, so this is the weeping mulberry tree.
How much higher is it going to get, though, do you think?
It's about it.
That's it? It's not going to get any
No,
larger?
about 20, 18, 19, 20 feet is the maximum.
Looks like you cut off, like, it's sort of facing a certain way, right? It's facing the driveway, and it's not, like, did you cut it to be that way, or did
No,
it?
it just grew, and I just cut the branches. Remember, I gave it a brush cut in around the end of October. I cut it right off, so there's only a little tiny few branches on top, and then it grows even better the next year.
Right, so the more you brush cut it, the more it has a chance to
Maybe
expand.
if I remember, I'll take another picture of it, or
Later
maybe I
on.
can get a picture of it that shows what it looks like in late summer.
Alrighty, sounds good.